Right, hello. So, as you can see, I've got this on. This is today's upcoming video as well. So this isn't an airtight helmet like a gas mask, because some people are asking about that. This is just literally a face protector thing on top of a regular helmet that attaches in two places. But the full video with details on this will be coming out later today. But I am wondering, with the back strap, if that is actually meant to go over the helmet or like tight around your neck. Because it's for the actual mandible bit, the back bit, but because if you pull that up, it pulls the mandible in a sort of different direction. I'm not sure if that's the way it's meant to go or not, but all right. I don't know sodium chloride. You're okay. But yeah, this isn't actually all that heavy. It's like I said, fairly comfortable for what it is. It's obviously adds a bit of weight to the front of the helmet, but not a silly amount. What time is it in Britain? It is 2 p.m. Well, 5 past 2, 4 minutes past 2, so 14:04. So on the night vision mount bit of it, you've got this bit that you can obviously then lift up and do that with. All right, Regiv? This bit is basically just attached to the helmet, as you can see, using those bits on the side. So yeah, that just attaches like that to lift on and off. Title of the stream, Vegemite Warrior. And then that, obviously, if you do the thing to put it fully down, there we go, it locks in the down position. Yeah, or I thought Halo. It reminds me a bit of the Halo ones. Might be a bit more like the ODST ones rather than the like Master Chief style ones, the Spartan helmet. But oh, I've literally found a thing where some newspaper or whatever is fucking claiming that these helmets rip off Halo, even though they clearly, don't. It's just how these are designed. But yeah, journalists doing the typical thing. Yeah, is it the ODST helmet? Yeah, it reminds me more of the actual ODST helmet than the actual Master Chief style one. Anyway, back to the chat. But yeah, essentially what it is I'll take it off so everybody can see it. And the annoying thing is where my scalp's a bit ex-Marie, this is actually irritating my scalp a bit, the like rim on the helmet. eBay, like I say in the video that comes out today, it's eBay as usual. So yeah, like I said, how it works is you have the regular Virtus helmet, then you have on the night vision clip, you have the like ballistic goggles that come down, and then this bit's attached to the like mounting bit on the top of the helmet there. So yeah, it's like I said, it's a bit bulky and strange. It's not uncomfortable though. That's the good thing of this. It's not uncomfortable. But again, like I said in the video it's coming out today, I really need to get a screwdriver and properly tighten these bits up on it, because they're without having those bits like tight, that's a bit weird as well. Yeah, it's quite a cool thing. No, it's more modern Kevlar. It's like the thermoplastic stuff, whatever they call it. Ultra high molecular weight polyethylene. Well, it's overkill for airsoft and paintball because it's designed to stop bits of your face being blown off by shrapnel. So, yeah, it's the same as the helmet. It's ultra high molecular weight polyethylene. I think there's a bit of metal on there as well, probably to stop back face deformation, and probably stop it cracking as easily. But yeah, it's fairly thin, but again, the point of it is that, it's to keep your jaw from being blown off and that bit from your eyes getting taken out. Anyway, like I said, there's a full video on it later today, so it's probably the thing where if you watch that, I might explain a bit more of the stuff of it, but it's one of those things where for ages they've just been stupidly expensive. So while I got the helmet a couple of years ago, all the accessories for it were, like silly money. So the fact that you can now get like both bits together for £100, or each individual bit for about £40 if you're really lucky. I think the goggles, some people are selling really cheap if you just wanted the goggles section of it. But obviously I wanted the full thing because it looks a bit weird having one bit without the other if you're going for the full-on thing with it. Because prior to having this, I just had NVGs attached to this. But yeah, so like I said, it sort of goes on like a normal helmet over your head. And then you've got the like full-on face shield bit of it. And what surprised me is when I did the video on it, one of the gas masks I tried it with actually fit underneath it and still made a proper airtight seal. So, although they're not designed for that, some gas masks will fit under this because of, I think, because of how much space there is between the front of your face and the like thing there. It doesn't go right to your face. It's designed to sit back a bit. Doubt it. That would be BAE Systems, but okay. The only thing is when you're releasing it, you have to keep that button pushed in quite a bit, or else it this thing. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting thing. Like I said, the mandible bit isn't designed to like lift up like that. That's just how it goes on to go off, sort of thing. You know, like you pivot it on like that, and then it goes backwards to lock into place. But yeah, like I said, it's an interesting thing. But yeah, sort of you keep the mandible basically just on there when it's post-apocalyptic look for the background. No, that's just more that there's lots of junk behind me. It's not designed to look like that on purpose. It's just a problem when you do a stream is every time I sort of, you know, get something out to show people, you end up with the thing of then it sits there in the background. So yeah, the only reason I'm on today, because it's a Sunday, is this weekend I had booked off work as holiday. And unlike the last time I had holiday, I'm not doing anything specific on it. But so yesterday I just got a load of videos filmed to catch up a bit on the videos. The one with the beer, don't worry. I'm not going to bother replying to that comment now because it's going to distract me. But yeah, the one with the beer wasn't from this morning. That was from yesterday, but I only uploaded it this morning. The helmet view is fine. Let's see if I can show you using the webcam. I'll put the need to reattach that now. That's the only problem when you lift that off. Yeah, I've messed this up now. Hang on a second. Right, is that back on its little locks? Yeah. Right, if I put this down, that keeps that in place a bit better. Yeah, see, when that's down, it stops it accidentally lifting off. So, it's not bad look. That's basically how you'd see like that, as you're like looking through just the ballistic bits. Yeah, the field of view isn't bad at all because it's so close to your head. No, it's not stupidly close to your head, but it's like with a panoramic visor on a gas mask, you get a bit of, yeah, stuff cut out. But like I said, this is a pretty cool thing. A lot of armies are doing this sort of thing now, but the obvious thing is that I doubt it will catch on too much outside of certain roles because troops probably don't want to wear something like that on their head non-stop. Yeah, that's exactly the thing, Rajiv. It's not getting in way of. It's not like blocking one eye and keeping one eye open. Yeah, it's technically, I think, a US thing that the British Army bought, but yes, they have it. Whether or not they issue it in big numbers, I don't know. But if you look at lots of armies that do the future soldier kind of things, they all bloody have these. But a lot of them, like you see, you never see them outside of the expo things. No, it's secure because obviously you tighten the helmet up and you tighten the chin strap up, so therefore it's secure. But yeah, like I said, it has a bit of wobble to some of the face piece bits, but once the helmet's on your head, that's fine. And those are designed, I think, to move a little bit because that way it takes some of the impact away if something hits you rather than it going full on into your face, sort of thing. Right, we'll put that in the background. The skeleton's got the broken neck, as we've said before, so he probably can't wear it very well. Poor thing. Yeah, he's very hunchback looking now, isn't that skeleton? I wonder if it'll actually go on with that Russian gas mask we've got on. Sort of again, but yeah. Stupid skeleton is very damaged now. Doesn't sit up straight, but there we go. We'll do that with him. Oh, knock on which bit? That bit? But yeah, that'll actually hurt your hands knocking on that because it's got that like kind of abrasive material on it. But yeah, it's essentially, the outside just feels like really hard plastic or metal because it's essentially, yeah, quite a tough plastic that's then just coated with stuff. Foam heads for gas masks, like I said before, don't really care either way. Again, like people have said, there's some polystyrenes and that will degrade really kind of valuable masks. So I wouldn't use a foam head if I were you for something really, really rare, but it doesn't matter for something cheaper. I know glass heads are like the optimum ones, but also bear in mind the problem is if you keep a gas mask on a head for ages, say like a glass head, foam head, doesn't really matter the material, that's eventually going to stretch the straps out and everything, because lots of gas masks aren't designed to have their straps, like fully stretched out all the time. They're designed to basically just sit, loose in the satchel. So bear in mind there's that. But yeah, the video, like I said, I did I uploaded it this morning, but filmed it last night. As it turns out, that the Glock knife, that's actually a really good bottle opener, that bit. So yeah, you just literally pop it under, do that. It acts as a bottle opener. Tank helmets, I've got two. I've got the typical Soviet style one. I've got two of those technically, but one that's in the night vision configuration for a vehicle crew, one that's just in its own, without anything attached to it. So the ones that are like, the fake leather kind of, the really famous Russian Cold War one that, has the comms equipment built in. It doesn't offer you any head protection other than bumping your head. And I've also got a French one somewhere. The French one is one where the headphones can be used with it or without it. So the one I bought didn't have the headphones included. But yeah, the French one's a lot more comfortable than the Soviet one. It's kind of like a rugby helmet kind of looking thing. But again, I don't have any like the armored like vehicle crew helmets that you can get. I've just got, like I said, a couple of ones I've got like more like the bump helmet things for vehicle crews. The only thing I could think of for widening the oral nasal cup, which I've done with masks before, is to scrunch up some newspaper or like tissue paper and put that in a bit like inside, because I've used that before to keep the shape of masks that are like a bit caved in from like years of being stored, like, where I've obviously bought them and they've been in a big surplus pile or something. So, the masks have caved in over the years because they've just had like loads of weight on them. But yeah, so, like tissue paper stuff. I don't know if I've still got some, but kind of good stuff. It's all the way down there and I can't reach it behind other stuff. But sometimes, like when you buy products, they wrap them in tissue paper, like to avoid it being broken in transit. That kind of stuff's quite good because you can basically fold it to the shape you want, but it's dense enough if you fold enough of it up that it will, keep a shape. And the actual like proper tissue paper for wrapping stuff isn't like newspaper where it's got print on it that might come off onto the mask. It's, just, you can probably buy it from like postage companies for like, wrapping a parcel in. But yeah, like I mentioned in the video for this, the official uses of this is one as a Riot control helmet. So, the same way a Riot visor works on a Riot helmet, like the one in the background there, you can see sticking up the, to protect your face from having your jaw broken or whatever, or stuff thrown in your face. That's one of the proper uses for it, for Riot control. The other one people are saying is for like vehicle crews, that why, technically, yeah, similar thing. There are like proper vehicle helmets. Lots of roles now apparently are just getting given that because you can use it with comms equipment as well, I think that was more for people riding on the outside of vehicles. It acts a bit like a motorcycle helmet, again, crash helmet. Bit much for Riots. Now, not really, because the thing is, obviously, if you give a regular soldier a Riot helmet, then they don't have any of the protection a normal helmet offers over a Riot helmet. which is why some military helmets have the Riot visor type design, like the Mark 6 did, because of the fact that, it's literally designed that you can put a Riot visor on a normal helmet that still offers all the normal protections an infantry helmet does, and you don't have to have two helmets. So it makes more sense to me that if they've got a standard infantry helmet, they'd have accessories to change them up for different scenarios rather than having to issue completely separate helmets for a Riot situation. And yeah, the other one, again, like I said, is people riding on vehicles to act a little bit like a crash helmet, multi-role helmet. And yeah, and the other one is, ballistic face protection to some degree. All right, Rich. Yeah, it's an interesting thing, isn't it? It's like I said, I don't mind it, but like I was saying to people in the chat, as good as it is, it's one of those things I imagine lots of soldiers would feel like is a pain in the arse to wear, even though it's quite lightweight and comfortable. So it's the sort of thing that, although loads of armies show those things off in, like, future soldier kind of things, I imagine it's, one of those things that lots of soldiers wouldn't want the bulk of it. That, even if it is going to protect a lot of your face being blown off by shrapnel or whatever, the chance that they get worn a lot of the time, if they can get away without wearing them, I imagine is quite low. But yeah, so like I was saying, because the thing is, like with riots, is because again, when Britain was in Northern Ireland, it was a thing like this, and then again, I think this is a thing they learned from like Iraq and Afghanistan. Is you want your troops with like proper body armor and equipment on in case somebody shoots at them, or like an explosive goes off. But if you're also having to use your soldiers as like riot police and stuff like that because of like counterinsurgency, whatever they call it, coin, isn't it, counterinsurgency? That's where I think you want the combined helmets. Oh look, there's somebody coming on being a dickhead. Goodbye. Weirdly, that means they've actually subscribed to on purposely leave a weird comment, but yeah. No, not really, because like I said, it's made from proper gear. It's not like one where, like I said, it is actually all properly fitting together. So it has been designed properly from the get-go. But again, like I said, the Russians have an equivalent of this, which is never going to see the light of day outside of arms expos. Because again, like an average Mobic doesn't even get all the proper gear, so they're not getting all this future soldier gear. But yeah, like I said, it's a proper thing, but the main thing I'd say of it is it seems like I imagine you'd have a hard time getting all the soldiers to wear it properly. Like I said, it's one of those things where if you were telling soldiers they had to respond to a riot situation and to put all that gear on, I'm sure it'd be fine. But it's one of those things where if you were expecting soldiers to wear it all the time, they probably wouldn't. Just like, they've had issues in lots of armies before with body armor that if your body armor is too bulky and heavy, lots of soldiers don't wear it or don't wear the plates in it, and then it doesn't do them any good if somebody shoots at them, or a bomb goes off. So it's that's again why a lot of nations adopted the lighter weight body armor for not frontline soldiers, because it's better to have soldiers wearing some protection than giving them shitloads of protection that's so bulky and heavy they're not going to wear it all the time. But yeah, so that's that. As I said, I would wear it for longer because it doesn't hurt me to talk. But as I said, because annoying, because where I get eczema, again, can't see that necessarily well. But the headband, or like the helmet where it goes around there at the moment, is very itchy on my scalp. So I'm not going to wear that because it's just going to make my eczema worse for no reason. So I've filmed the gas mask now, video on that gas mask. That was the one that went live yesterday on the MF14. I filmed the one on the C50, the initial video. Like I said, there'll be more upcoming videos. I've got some other stuff, like I said, I've bought, I need to do videos on. I haven't done a video yet on the Chinese FMJ08, which I've got. So there'll be a video coming up on that at some point when I get a chance to film it. Probably do it in the week at some point, because I'll have a couple of days in the week where I'll hopefully have time to film some videos without being interrupted too much. Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't normally ever do a stream on a Sunday at the moment because I work weekends, but just this weekend, like I said, because I had holiday to use up, I've got the weekend off work, so I thought I'd do a stream for a bit of today, because it's, it's a bit weird for me having a Sunday where I'm actually doing nothing. I'm still not used to it. yeah, I'm just seeing if there's anything interesting. Oh, and yesterday was happy 2-year anniversary to the 3-day special military operation. So, Putin being an idiot starting a pointless war. That's, again, like I said, we're into the 3rd year now of a 3-day operation because it was planned by an idiot. And again, he's not going to stop the war because he knows he's basically a dead man if it, he can't be a dictator. So there's that. Right, I'm hoping the chat's still working because I've not had any new comments in a while. And again, like I said, sometimes this bloody happens with the live chats now where they seem to break. Let me do a pop-out chat and see if the chat looks any different. Yeah, right. So the chat did update and YouTube was broken. So, what kind of riot shield is on your left? That's just one of the Chinese type ones. Like I've said before with the riot shields, the best type are the circular ones. I won't get all of them out now because this type catch a lot of air. They're like obviously good if you're in a formation with loads of other people, but the problem with these isn't so much the weight of them, because even the polycarbonate ones don't weigh too much. It's that you can catch the air. They catch the air like a sail, which means that they add way too much weight if you're trying to move them around quickly. So this is a Chinese like aluminium one with a polycarbonate like bit on that. So this is all right, but I just bought it because it was cheap. But it's perfectly serviceable as a riot shield. But the ex-police ones, if you can get one that's not too beaten up, like the round ones, this might be. Yeah, this isn't too buried. Yeah, like I said, this is my favourite type of riot shield just because of the fact they're the these are so much more practical if you're using them on your own. All right, Rich, that's kind of interesting. What was that? Just where the plates were, or whatever? That does have plexiglass. Well, it's polycarbonate, but yeah, that one does have it on there. I was saying that, yeah, you obviously really cheap riot shields don't have anything on the viewport, but yeah, like I said, polycarbonate is the material you want to build riot shields out of because they're the ones that essentially are waterproof, chemical proof against most chemicals, and it's kind of fire retardant. And you can see through it. As scratched up and as damaged as this one is, as it's police surplus, these are pretty practical. Now, the police ones normally have all those bits covered up because it's a PR nightmare if a cop punches somebody in the head with one of these and it like takes a bit less skull off. But obviously, yeah, you could also punch with the side of a riot shield, as I said before, and that would definitely do you harm. 3 top favorite camo patterns. Again, ones I own or ones I could theoretically own. Because my favorite camo I don't own is probably Finish MO5 because that's a really nice looking camo. Again, my top 3 gas masks wouldn't be necessarily what the best top 3 are because, like I said, for me, the C50 is probably the best one over there. Because of the fact the C50, is takes 40mm filters, where I know, like, for a lot of people, they say, like, oh, the FM53 or the FM54 are the best gas masks ever. But for me, they're not, because I'm not going to be using them with an airline. Yeah, I like Ozchem as well. Like I said in that other stream, like a week or so ago, whenever it was, oh, great, the camera's lost its focus now. The Transaneski or whatever it's called camo pattern is quite nice. That like weird South African spin-off one that existed for a bit of time period. That you can sometimes still get it as surplus. I'm seeing if I can get the light to the camera to refocus because annoyingly it's done that thing where the autofocus has been distracted by something and now it doesn't want to refocus on me. Right, can I get that? So it's focusing about there. Will it focus further back? No. So, unfortunately, this looks horrible now. I'll still carry on streaming, but yeah, like I said, I don't like it when the webcams do that. Oh, that's a bit better. There we go. Right. Oxfordshire. But yeah, like SS Leto is one I really like. like the Russian copy of Oakleaf where they changed the colours around. Again, there's lots of camo patterns I like, but again, it's like I said, Finish MO5 I think is the very best camo that I don't own, that, you know, I've seen like work in loads of places. Rhodesian brushstrokes really nice as well, because that's again one of those camos that works in way more places than it technically should. It's just a really good like color palette. Oh crap, the M1 carbine's in the background. I'm going to move the Riot shield along so YouTube doesn't give me a strike. There we go, you can only see a bit of the barrel now. But yeah, that's that hidden. What's a bit weird is it looks like there's something purple at the bottom there by the shield, but looking down there, I can't see anything that looks like that. So I don't know what the camera's like mistaking a various colour for to look like that. But oh well, not my problem. Multicam like MTP, yeah, it's all right. It's one of those camos that is quite practical, but it's a bit annoying how so many nations use it now that you can't tell different nations apart from their camouflage pattern in the field. Right, yeah. Yeah, you're right, Vegemite Warrior. It's actually the top of my bottle cap, because in the camera thing, it looked like it was down there. That's why I was getting confused, but no, it's because it was right in the foreground. If I move that, that might help the camera focus as well. Camo nets? What, just as in, like, for camouflaging various things? Yeah, fine. Again, it really depends. Like, they're obviously really important, again, things like camo nets, just because how prevalent drones are getting, like, you know, hobbyist-sized drones, if you, like, watch all the Ukraine stuff. So stuff like camo nets is really good for actually making it much harder to see, like, trenches or just dugouts of people in. But again, I don't see a downside to camo nets, you know, or scrim netting or any of the stuff like that. Oh, is in camo helmet nets. Yeah, good again, but not good if it gets in the way of a proper helmet's function. So, you know, have all the actual proper helmet stuff on a helmet underneath, and then, yeah, have a bit of scrim or whatever, or like fake vegetation or real vegetation on it to break the shape up, but as long as it doesn't get in the way of any of the helmet's actual functions. Again, stuff like that, I don't really see how it can, you know, be a downside, having, you know, makes you harder to see. Well, like I say, the problem with the multicam stuff, like I say now, is like if you see all the Ukraine stuff, is because the Russians have bought so much cheap multicam online to issue their troops with. You'll notice now that they're relying more and more on having like soldiers with different coloured armbands, because of the fact that like nobody's wearing their actual proper kind of camo anymore. Why so many dislikes? Dislikes of what? If you mean the stream, I can only see likes. YouTube doesn't show you dislikes anymore. Let's have a look. You know, you can't actually see dislikes on the stream, can you? If I go to the My Live thing, you don't even see... Oh, yeah. Apparently, yeah, there's 10 dislikes. But yeah, that's just because there's some random fuckers coming on and thumbing it down, then probably coming back with a new account and thumbing it down. That's pretty standard. But yeah, I also had a weirdo come on the comments to like just insult me again, which is pretty common with a live stream. So, you know, like I said, I don't even pay attention to likes and dislikes, in all honesty. But yeah, as Rajiv says, yeah, if you want to be nice, you can give me a like while you're watching, because again, YouTube says, oh, people liking it help share your videos and all that, but I don't know if there's any much truth to that. Which I think is why Count Dankula for like a year or two's had that thing where he goes, you can really help me out by liking, and then he does like that laugh, you know, all that sort of stuff, because yeah, we all know like YouTube's algorithm, like likes and that don't really play much of an actual thing into it. It's, does YouTube want to share your video because it thinks it will be, you know, a good money making thing, essentially. I've got a VM44. I don't know if I've ever even seen a VM45, so the answer is no, but let's have a look. VM45 gas mask. When I search that, it's not even coming up with results when I search VM45. I'm only seeing VM44s. And I do have a VM44. So I've got a VM44. I don't think a VM45 is a thing. Well, at least not according to Google. If it exists, it's so rare that there's not any articles on it. Yeah, lunchbox, exactly that. Because yeah, it's YouTube's weird because it's like over the years of YouTube, they've had different ways they used to like encourage people to like share videos and that. And at one point, yeah, like the like to dislike ratio, or just having lots of likes and dislikes, because again, like dislikes didn't mean that they didn't share the video, was a way of getting video shared. But now I don't think there's much to it. A lot of the time it's spent, I think, is like minutes watched and how much they reckon like the profitability is on a video is a chin sword. I doubt it. I've not heard of a chin sword. Let me search, Google it. I've got a Chinese sword. Well, I've got a Chinese polearm, not a Chinese sword. But when I search chin sword, it just says, "Did you mean Chinese sword?" There's a katana in the background, which I know is Japanese, not somewhere in the background. There it is. Yeah, stuck into the skeleton. Oh, he's going over now. If he stays there. So yeah, chain. What's a chainsaw? As in a chainsaw? I've got a mini chainsaw, but I don't do forestry stuff, so I've no use for a chainsaw. And if I'll Google chainsaw just in case that's an actual thing. What, like a 40k thing? Do you mean, or do you mean like yeah, it's only coming up with Warhammer 40k now. There's a video then I thought was one of Mike's, because the background looks like Mike's shed, but it's a completely different channel. That's kind of weird. But yeah, I thought then there might have been like even a thingy like a flail's chain with a sword on the end, because there's a load of weird weapons like that. But so I'm drunk is one of those people that is, again, yes, that's why he was asking about the dislikes, because he's blatantly doing it. So yeah, he's another person that's come back, probably the first person after I blocked them. Yeah, in the UK you can own guns though, but again, I'm not going to even bother starting to get into the arguments of owning guns versus not owning guns of people that clearly are just kind of weirdly interested in that. What is the mask hanging in the bag on the right? Right, when you say right, do you mean my side or that side? And bag, I don't think there's any hanging in a bag. There's the Chinese one at the top, but that's not in the bag. My left. Again, which one? Chinese multifunction one. Actually, that is multifunction one. Spassiani TR2002. Chinese MF14. There's an Avon C50 next to that. Below that, there's a British C7. Right, let me move the chat box, because I think that's right in the way of... That's a C7 right on the side there, if that's the one you're looking at. Yeah, the C7 I think he's looking at. Like I said, the nicest mask I've got there anyway is the Avon C50. Sorry, was that Darktide? I've never actually played Darktide. I know it's quite popular, but I've never actually played it. One behind my head, underneath the helmet, there's a Soviet or modern Russian equivalent of the what's it called? Like the GP9 PPM88, wasn't it? Like the Metro 2033 mask. Soviet camera, again, like all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's a sort of thing that over the years has become less and less common, just because yeah, over the years it's like, yeah, like all surplus like that Soviet stock start drying up. What do I think the best gas mask is? I already said Avon. My favorite used to be the CT12, but now I'm going to just say the M50 because it's more modern. there's the riot shield there we were already talking about, but you're looking at something else. Because like I said, this is so disorganized now, everything in the back, I don't potentially know. Oh, and why is my bayonet gone over there? Yeah, that's the only disadvantage to this. There's not a bottle opener on this, is there, compared to the Glock knife? Whether or not you could actually use the bayonet lug bit as a bottle opener, probably if you got the angle right. But, if you're on about the bayonet, it's a reproduction one, not a proper one, but built to the exact same standards. A US M7. Although it says M8A1, apparently that's the name of the scabbard, the M8A1. Because that's confusing, isn't it? The scabbard has a different name than the bayonet. So when you see the scabbard, you think, oh, that's an M8. Must be an M8. It's in the scabbard. No, it's an M7. But yeah, like the M16 bayonet, basically, you know, that works on lots of NATO rifles. And annoyingly, because of YouTube's policy, I can't show you in a live stream clipping it onto various rifles, but it fits both my Galil and my AUG. And I imagine it might fit a couple of other things as well that I've not tried it on, but essentially most 5.56 NATO rifles, if they have a bayonet lug, will fit this. Yeah, this one, though, I think it's just Chinesium. As in, like, you know, it was one, I didn't get it from AliExpress, but I think it's one that you can get on AliExpress. Yeah, I've got a couple of AK bayonets, so yes, I've got AK bayonets with the wire cutters on. Again, like, AK bayonets are alright, but it's again, AK bayonets are one of those funny things where it depends on what nation you get them from. Like, the proper Soviet ones and some of the other Warsaw Pact ones are quite well made. Some of the other nations that made AK bayonets are absolute trash, you know, like really shit metal quality, you know, like really poor fit and finish. So if you use them as a bayonet, they might not, like, attach very well. Vegemite, how it works is, again, this one doesn't have it, so I can't show you on here, but how it works is on some bayonet scabbards, you've got like a wire cutter built onto the scabbard, and then there's a hole in the bayonet, so you do like that on the on like the scabbard, like it fits on with a hole in it. And then the USM9 bayonet has a wire cutter on it. The L85 bayonet does as well, but yeah, it's one of those things that the scabbard and the blade are designed in a way that you connect them together, and then you can do that with them. Again, it's one of those things, do you want a bayonet as a pure combat thing, or is it one that's going to be turned into a multi-function knife that just has a clip on it, you know, to go on the rifle? Because, again, pure bayonets aren't meant to be sharp because they're designed to go through a rib cage and not get stuck. Whereas if it's just a multi-function knife that has a lug on it, it works as a knife, but it potentially gets stuck in the ribs. Because, again, like, one of my favourite bayonets that was mass-produced is this thing. The Swiss Sturmgewehr 57's bayonet. And this, again, is one that, although it kind of looks like it's sharp there, it's not actually sharp. It's kind of a blunt rib separator. Not off the top of my head. I mean, I'm sure if I looked up a picture of them, I'd recognise it. But yeah, out of interest, that's kind of funny that the ring is about the same size on that compared to a 7.65 bayonet on the M7. But I suppose that's because the flash hider is what has to go over, not the actual like barrel circumference. No, let me have a look, Rich, if I can find his channel easily. I know exactly who you mean by Stu, but yeah, it's just whether or not when I search him I can actually find him. No, I ought to get one at some point. I have seen now and again they go up for sale for about £100, but it's one of those things that I've never had spare money at the point of getting one. I've got an Enfield sword bayonet somewhere, Rich, but let me see which one's his is. SAK94 YouTube. Oh, that's actually good. I can search his name and it comes up with his videos, unlike so many channels where even when I'm actually looking for the channel in question, I can never find the bloody videos for him. So search his channel, Bayonet. Ah, yeah, he's got the same one as me, the Lee Enfield sword bayonet. Yeah, it's the Lee Enfield one. I've got one of them. That was a bayonet I paid a load of money for, but I don't mind. The craziest sword bayonet so I've seen, Rich, because obviously the Lee Enfield one is like a short sword. But there are some fucking bayonets that actually have a proper handguard on and everything. You know, like how cumbersome that must be as a bayonet, I don't know. But let me find one for you if I Google it. Oh, and then I can do the share screen function if that still works, and I can put it up on the screen for everyone to have a look at. Hang on, give me 1 second. I've also not had any of my coffee, so that's probably going cold. But yeah, give me 1 second. I was hoping I could find one actually on the gun with the full thing rather than it being done separately. Because when it's done separately, you can't quite appreciate how dumb it looks. But if I'll get one up in one image and one up in another tab, and then see if I can show both. Okay, so I'm just going to try and get these actually in a full-on tab, open image and new tab, so when I go to them on the live stream, it works. All right, there's the other one. Right, okay, so... Oh, both of them were actually from the same web page. If I open that up, then it's a higher res one, not the cut down one from wherever else it was. Right, okay, so let me get this up then. So if I remember how it works, I click that, then I share screen, Chrome tab, and then, yeah, so share this one. So it is a Martini Henry sword bayonet, but it actually has like a D guard on the sword. So, yeah, there's also another one like that. I'll show you all of them like next to each other. That is the one. So that's the other kind of crazy one, because it's yeah, you get the sawback designs as well. But yeah, like they're even crazier than the Lee Enfield sword bayonet because they actually have the proper D guard on them. So they are literally proper short swords, like a straight saber sort of cutlass thing that then is got bayonet lugs on it. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, it's one of those things that I'd love to have one, but I've never seen one at a good price. Oh, have we got another troll on? Ah, yeah. So it's the same guy coming back over and over again, isn't it? So the person was accusing me of buying subs, but if you've ever watched this channel, you know I've been here since, what was it, 2012 or something. So it's a case of yeah, I've had people subscribe to me over the course of like 10 plus years. So I have definitely not bought subs. I would, if you were going to accuse somebody of that, again, is a bollocks thing to do. Accuse the people that seem to have like 500,000 subs for a video that just has weird TikTok shit on it. Yeah, I know Helmet Productions, but like I said, I need to have money first to get one. And again, recently I've been buying shit like that. It's one of the things I'll probably buy. No, I don't play DayZ or DayZ. Again, it's an Arma 2 mod, and I prefer Arma 2. But no, with DayZ, the annoying thing, I've heard it's like the devs don't like do any bloody updates to it anymore, do they? It's like an abandoned game. And because it was originally a mod, and then it's a paid for mod, but they don't update it, I don't really see the point in getting it. An actual Pascut. Well, I've got a Pascut vest, an actual Pascut vest. You mean the helmet or what? I've got a real Pascut vest, and somewhere I've got the exact same shape as a Pascut helmet, but you know, one that was used by the British Armed Police, so like a licensed built one. But I don't really personally see the point in buying an older Pascut helmet if it's going to cost more for something that's less protective. There's a UK, well, an English flag there. buried under it. There's a Ukrainian flag buried under there as well somewhere. But yeah, so I've got a thing with the same cut as a Pascut, which is more modern, and I've got a proper Pascut vest, but I wouldn't pay a load of money for an actual, like, 1990s era Pascut or whatever, because, you know, it's just one of those things that because everything takes up space, as you can see, so you also start running into the problems of, you know, when you start getting stuff like that, as well as the cost of it, it takes up space. Because yeah, like that helmet's the same cut as a Pascut as well, technically. But yeah, again, I like the Pascut a lot, but it's one of those things that I don't see the point of like buying an old one myself. Yeah, the reason is I only originally had that flag because it's my country's flag, and I got the Ukraine one in support of Ukraine when the war kicked off. But I'm not. If I start buying flags on top of everything else, it's going to get even worse. Yeah, the bows I don't actually have in this room because, yeah, in one of the other rooms in the house, I've got a load of bows just lined up next to each other. And yeah, they take up room. Anyway, I'll be off fairly soon. When you say British Pascut, which one do you mean? Because again, the armed police one, are you on about the armed police one or what? Because the British Army never used Pascuts. Because the armed police one should just be a case of going on eBay and buying the equivalent airsoft, you know, one. Oh, the armed police one. Yeah, the armed police one, just literally go on eBay and buy a replacement liner for it. Like an airsoft one should fit. Again, like I said, I'm not a massive fan of that one because my one's got a chin strap and it's really uncomfortable. That's one of the main things I didn't like about that particular helmet, was just it had a really shitty liner in it. Again, it's like I'm not one of those people that normally even complains about helmet comfort, but it was one of those helmets I was really like, yeah, this is a bad liner. Let me just literally tell you what to look up on eBay. I've got airsoft gear, but sadly, the only airsoft place near me isn't even close to me, and they only do like one game a month on a Sunday, and like I said, today is one of the rare Sundays I've got booked off as holiday from work, and I'm not working it. So the point is, even though I wouldn't mind doing airsoft, it's completely impractical for me to do it. But yeah, hang on. Just seeing if I can find you a strap or anything for them. But no, at the moment, there's not many on there. But you could just, the only thing I could advise, where we saying about that, is to buy the airsoft like equivalent, like a cheap shitty airsoft equivalent of a Pascut, then just take the liner out and put it in your police one. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if you're going to be able to find a genuine one, but I'd say because they're so similar in terms of liner, suspension systems, just buy an airsoft one and fit it in. Anything like that, just get anything that looks like a Pascut knockoff and then just swap the straps around. Thankfully, Lunchbox, every time I've ever done airsoft, there was no bloody politics involved. But yeah, I've had a couple of times where I've got up and it's just been a shit day because people cheating, and then, you know, the people cheating then accuse everybody else of cheating. Like, I've been to some times where you can go to the same sites and everybody playing just wants to be there and they're calling their hits and it's good fun. But yeah, I've had times as well where it's been miserable, where you've just got like chavvy type people turn up for a day, rent a gun, and then not fucking play properly. But yeah, well, with airsoft helmets, bear in mind they're not real helmets. They're literally like plastic shells of helmets. But yeah, they're all right for if you just want to cannibalize them for parts. Also, you can sometimes buy helmet stuff for different helmets that you might be able to fit. But like I said, I'm not an expert on that, because I've also had people tell me before, like, oh, if you buy this thing and fit it to this helmet, it will be a good fit, and sometimes it's not. So I'm not going to even try and give advice on that. Just, yeah, look for something listed that looks like it's got the exact same, like suspension system or whatever, then just buy that if it's a cheap toy kind of thing, copy it over. Again, like I said, I'm the wrong person to be asking about that, Joshua. You'd probably be best, if you're really interested in that, asking on like a proper forum for people that collect stuff like that. I used to have one Vegemite and I sold it because literally I think I got it at one point fairly cheap. It wasn't even a good condition Stahlhelm. I got like a rusted out Stahlhelm, did a couple of videos on it over the years, kind of cleaned it up a bit so it didn't look quite as bad, but it was still a rusted out shell of a Stahlhelm, no liner or whatever. And then I chucked it on eBay, and on bids it went to like £100. So I sold it and was pretty happy with that. So I made a bit of money on it, and like I said, at some point I might actually buy a reproduction Stahlhelm. Not because of the historical value in it, just so I've got an actual Stahlhelm thing if ever I wanted to do one. There's a bloke I know that's got a deactivated MG42. All right, Hype. I won't be on too much longer, but yeah. When I say cheap helmet, if we're on about actual helmets, like Milsurp ones that are like £20 to £30. But yeah, like I said, there's a bloke I know that's got a deactivated MG42 who's going to bring it round at some point so I can do a video on it. Is that a channel lunchbox? If so, it's one I've never seen. But yeah, now you're on Hype. This is going on about this when the stream was on. There you go. But yeah, if I was to get a Stahlhelm, I'd just buy a decent steel pot quality reproduction. I've got like a Swiss Stahlhelm and everything, and like non-German ones, and I've owned some ones from other countries. Like I've got a Yugo Stahlhelm and an East German Stahlhelm. But at one point I think it was a Bulgarian Stahlhelm, and again that was when I sold for about the same price I bought it, just to free up space, because it didn't do anything but collect dust. But yeah, the only type of, like saying Stahlhelm, if I bothered to get one, would be an actual just decently priced reproduction German one, just for the visuals of it. I don't actually know Hype, because it's one of those things where, like this particular helmet, when people have actually tested them, they've ended up being like proper level 3, level 4 helmets in terms of like, surviving sometimes rifle shots. But they're not rated for that, because it's like one of those things where the companies that make them don't submit them for the rating, because then they probably have to meet the rating every time. So they only classify them as like a lower form of protection. Yeah, the visor, I don't know. It's whatever, the standard military eye protection goes against. Again, it's mostly designed as fragment protection, not direct ballistic protection. But yeah. The mandible bit is going to be fairly good, because it's decently thick, if you see that from the side. Because it's ultra high molecular weight polyethylene, blah, 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 that is actually really good at stopping bullets. And it feels like they've put a bit of metal on it to give it a bit of backface deformation protection. So, it's one of those things of, this is probably actually really good at protecting you from getting, your jaw blown off. Again, it's how good the eye protection bit is. Yeah, the good thing with this, though, like I was saying, is it's got a back metal plate on it, it feels like, to protect you a bit there. And the gap between your head and this is quite big. So I imagine that you've got quite a bit of room before your jaw gets broken. Because, yeah, No, I don't have an Altin helmet, whatever it's called, mostly because there's so many knockoffs on the market that I bet you if I bought one, I'd end up getting, like, scammed on it. Well, yeah, that's what I had on it before, but yeah, so it's a standard, whatever you call them, mount. So yeah, the ballistic eye shield thing uses the NVG mount, but yeah, that's what that mount is for normally, night vision. But you can't obviously have night vision on at the same time as this. So yeah. Anyway, let me take that back off because, like I said, annoyingly, where the eczema is on my scalp, that's quite painful with the Oh yeah, and the other bloody thing, like I said, is as soon as you take that ballistic visor off, the this bit comes off really too easily. So yeah, now I'm gonna have to put that all back together again. Well, night vision is certainly useful if you're having to do anything at night, because of just how much better you can see. And you're also aware if somebody else is looking at you with something like an infrared laser or infrared goggles or whatever. But like I said, that's completely dependent on if you're somewhere that issues it or not. What's a Victress helmet? If you mean the Virtus helmet, this is a Virtus helmet. But... yeah, Virtus helmet. Name of the stream. It's also got a name like something like Battle Skin Cobra Revision 2 or whatever. It's essentially the same helmet the US has, the what do you call it, like the ECH, whatever their name is for it, because like Britain buys the same one America uses. But yeah, it's that helmet essentially. The only real difference between this one and the US one is just like some of the mountings and that they've changed around a bit on it, but otherwise it's the exact same helmet. Like I said, the annoying bit is getting this on once you take it off. There we go. Right, now if I put the visor back down, lock it in place, there we go. That won't come off again because the visor, when it's down, stops it from lifting up. But yeah, oh, it even says revision, look on the side of that bit. No, it's pretty lightweight. The mandible is, you don't really notice having it, like I was saying, on the front. And apparently when the army issues them, they have like a very low weight counterweight on the back of the helmet. But yeah, the mandible is pretty damn light. Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything of an equivalent weight. I've not weighed it, but maybe 100 grams, if that. Like the heaviest bit of it seems to be a little metal backplate with it, I guess, is for the back face deformation. No, because night vision can auto gate, and also night vision doesn't go any brighter than a white screen would go. The problem is I keep hearing that stuff about night vision, like in proper stuff that should know better, where they're like, oh, if you had night vision on and there's a bright light, it can like cause permanent eye damage. It's like, no, it can't, because it's still a screen that only has a maximum brightness. It's actually safer looking at a bright light with night vision on for your eyes than it is directly looking at a bright light. But yeah, I've seen that like repeated, like it's like one of those FUD law things that I've heard repeated, so many times that like, yeah, Sonny, if you have night vision on, then there's a bright light, you go blind. It's like, no, that's not how night vision actually works. Yeah, especially like we're saying with auto gating and everything else, that their night vision is going to be protected from a bright light. Yeah, but also, yeah, bear in mind the person that's using a flashlight in the dark is going to ruin their own natural night vision. When I say natural night vision, I mean like how well you can see in the dark. Because once you turn a flashlight on, your eyes are going to your pupils, whatever, dilate or the other way, where where they contract. So yeah, the pupils are going to contract, aren't they? It's not. I've got a few sets. The best one I've got is a Chinese NNVT, and that's an analog Gen 2 Plus. I've got some like cheaper digital ones which aren't awful, but they mostly rely on there being a fair bit of like a lot more ambient light, or you having an infrared flashlight or whatever. But yeah, anyway, I'll be off in a minute. But yeah, like I said, the video on this is out tonight anyway at 5 p.m. Again, budget night vision is one of those really hard to answer questions because it depends how good you want the night vision and what for. Because if you just didn't want to spend much money and just wanted something that you could like use at night and you weren't worried about other people, you can literally get something with infrared flashlight. Oh yeah, thank you very much as well for that. But yeah, I did see though hype people still saying like, oh no, digital night vision is total shit. There aren't any good units, and it's like no, because I see that a lot. And again, like I said, I like Americans on here, but you know when you get the US people that say I've bought a a PVS 14 or whatever they're called, like you know that's the best night vision ever. It's like nothing ever comes close to that. All other countries make shit night vision. You know, only poor people wouldn't buy a PVS 14 or whatever it is. You know, and it's like, oh, shut up, you know, when you see people like that, because it's like that's completely untrue. Because I've also seen the thing of people like doing the gatekeeping thing with night vision, you know, doing the thing of like, oh, unless you're going to spend this much money, it's not worth it at all. It's like maybe some people just want it to look at the stars or something, you know, not actually playing fucking, you know, LARPing as some sort of operator. Yeah, exactly. It's like I was saying in the video I put on the other day, is that again it's not even my favorite budget gas mask, but yeah, if you can get one of these bloody Chinese MF14s for like $20, that's really good for a gas mask. It's like, you know, you don't need to buy something like this to have a good gas mask. As much as something like this is way cooler, don't get me wrong, this is still a fully functional respirator, you know, it's that sort of thing. But yeah, you get the gatekeeping people that like we were saying, like, oh, if you have whatever, it's trash, you know. Yeah, well, you get that with a lot of things, don't you? It's like the people that buy really, really expensive AR builds and then have really shitty groups if they even take them out to shoot them at all. That, you know, whereas you can see channels where they've got very basic firearms that, you know, and they can shoot them as well as the gun can actually shoot. Because again, it's that sort of thing that, like with any hobby, if you don't practice enough with it, it doesn't really matter if you've got really expensive gear, you're not going to be as good as that gear can manage. Um, Again, there's a lot of internet forums that again I don't bother going on, because you tend to get that with certain subreddits and certain forums that, you know, you always get those sort of people on there. They spent shitloads of money and they have to constantly then validate all their money spending. Kakano, I have Kakano. I've got deactivated Kakano, but I've got the one with the little folding bayonet. It's bloody cool. I've done a video on it. But like I said, I've not shot a Kakano, but it seems quite good actually. The Kakano, it's nice lightweight. The Kakano carbine. I mean, it was good enough to blow JFK's brains out allegedly. So I've made scale models before. You mean like airfix stuff? Yeah. But yeah, like I said, the only, like the thing, like with the rifles, like bolt actions, I massively prefer the magazine type ones, as in like the SMLE or like the K31 style ones, you know, where you load a proper mag, even if it's not a detachable mag, you load a proper mag from the top, either with clips or thumbing the rounds in. Because I think the problem with the Carcano is a bit like the Steyr Mannlicher I've got. You literally can't load it without clips. As in, like, without a clip being inserted, it locks you from feeding rounds in. It's really weird. So although I've got some, I don't have them on this desk, but I've actually got some, like, whatever you want to call them, deactivated inert cartridges that the old obsolete caliber size for my Steyr Mannlicher, but you can't put them in unless you've got the really weird old clip for it, because it's designed that the clip like opens a bit of the breech for the rounds to feed from. Yeah, again, there's lots of shit like that, isn't there? Hype. Again, it's like with air guns. You get people that, again, like I've got friends that take air gun shooting really seriously, and they enjoy shooting, you know, like the proper PCP, blah 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 air guns. I've got a deactivated Lee Enfield, yeah, number one Mark III, the one I have. But yeah, the again, it's like but like, but they were saying the same thing, that, when they go shooting with their PCPs, there are other people that have stupidly expensive PCPs that can hit the broadside of a barn, that are then saying a thing of, a similar thing of like, oh, no, you can't buy, an air rifle any lower than this price or whatever, even though, again, it's the same thing of, there's probably people that can outshoot you with a really cheap Springer, if they're actually a good shot. Because again, it's like the cheapest Springer I have, the I don't mean the Daisy Red Rider, because that's technically a Springer, but you know what I mean, the actual BSA Hornet, whatever it is, the Gamo one. That again, that isn't bad for grouping if you're actually competent at shooting it, with its irons and everything else. And again, yeah, there's lots of air guns, like high quality PCPs, that would massively outshoot it, but you'd have to be a good enough shot to do it. And there's lots of people that, again, might buy those very expensive rifles and then not be able to shoot them to the best of their abilities. Yeah, there's a few gas mask subreddits. Again, I don't know how good and bad a lot of like subreddits are, but it's just, I know from like ages ago of using subreddits that, like, it doesn't seem to matter what kind of hobby it is, there are always people on the subreddits that do stupid shit for upvotes and whatever else. Because I even know people that, used to make a lot of content in, like, not even videos, like art style content and whatever. And a lot of them just gave up on using certain subreddits that should have been the proper subreddits for their hobby, just because they'd either get the people demanding they constantly, like, make certain content for those subreddits, or like where the subreddits kept going off topic and they never, like, they weren't modded properly to keep them on topic. Yeah, and annoyingly, with both the bows and my bike, I want to get a chance to use properly. It has been fucking non-stop rain since like November, December. So yeah, I've got that bike that's sitting in the shed all nice and new, and I've not had a chance to use it yet because so many of the fields have been so sodden that, again, I know I could use it, but it's like one of those things that I've just wanted like a couple of sunny weeks in a row to get, to start practicing on the bike, because I haven't used a bike in ages. But no, every weekend or like, every weekday, it's been massive puddles of water everywhere, windy, wet. Yeah. I don't know the UK law on it. Again, it would be down to certain like things, because technically, an airsoft gun is full auto, isn't it? But it's not rifled. So, I know they have hop up, but I think the UK one is like, once it goes beyond a certain amount of energy, it has to be semi-auto only, or whatever. Yeah, cheers. Anyway, have a good day, everybody. I've been on over an hour, and as I said, I don't normally stream on Sundays because this is one of the rare Sundays I've had holiday days to use up at work. So I've actually been able to have a relaxing Sunday, not, although I did wake up before 6 a.m. this morning because I'm so used to getting up at that time on Saturday and Sunday that, I woke up really early today and just got up because I'm so used to doing it, but at least I've not been running around non-stop all day. Yeah, that's it, Rajiv. That's what I'm saying. When I'm practicing using a new bike, I want it to be, where the braking conditions and everything are ideal. And then when I get comfortable with it, I won't mind taking it out in like the rain and that. But while I'm, learning a bike again, I don't want to, because I've not ridden one in ages. I don't want to be, doing that in adverse conditions. I want to just be in nice, enjoyable conditions for a pleasant bike ride. Then I can up it when, the weather, when I'm more comfortable with it. But anyway, see everybody. Like I said, otherwise I'm not going to get a chance to go off. But yeah, I think that person got bored eventually, didn't they? After getting blocked a few times and coming on saying weird shit. But yeah, have a good day, everybody. Next time I do a stream, I might have to set the thing that, you have to be subscribed for 1 hour or something to come on. That's a bit annoying if you're a new person wanting to come on for a stream, but at least it stops the people that keep making accounts to come back. Yeah. All right, have a nice time in Florida. I imagine it's very warm there and humid. But yeah, see everybody.